Hello, this is the Matt Schaub 2010 Video Outlook. Well, it's finally summer in the Midwest. Time to rejoice. The 8 or 9 months of winter are finally gone. So if there's a little bit of a pep in my step or I seem a little excited during this video, mind you, it's not because I got laid last night or anything. It's just because it's summer. I mean, I haven't been laid in months. But let's get into Matt Schaub. I mean, the guy had a ridiculous 2009 campaign. He's got the best wide receiver in the game. Andre Johnson's a beast. He led the league in passing yards last year with 4,770 yards, which is remarkable considering his number 2 wide receiver, Kevin Walter, was banged up Bolden style all year. I mean, he played 14 games, but it certainly did not seem like that. I had him on my team, and we never wanted to play him because he was always injured, limping into the week. Another thing to think about is Owen Daniels, his stud tight end. He missed 8 games, and he was having a great season through those first games. But to think how many yards he could have had if both of those guys, his second and third best wide receiver, were actually playing a majority of the games and not hurt. He definitely could have thrown for 5,000 yards. So I see him building upon this campaign and doing really big things in 2010. You just can't ever count out Count Chocula. He's been known to be more of a glass Joe throughout his career. His critics always, pan him for getting injured, but I don't think you can necessarily consider that a drawback right now. He had the 6th least amount of sacks taken last year, which shows that, he's not getting pounced too often. He only had 25 sacks throughout the entire year. He ranked first in completions and in attempts. That's pretty much in fantasy world what you're targeting in on and zoning in on. Who's throwing the most passes, and then who's completing the most, obviously. So he's a complete stud in that regard, totally. He was first in the league in passing yards per game with nearly 300 yards. He was right at 298 yards, which is amazing. And his completion percentage is amazing. He had 29 touchdowns, just awesome. But going into this year, I think this really, truly will be his breakout season. I think he's gonna add on to what he did last year with those guys back. Slayton was fumbling the ball last year a lot. That lost him opportunities. Chris Brown was a bonehead a couple times last year. So they went out and they drafted this Ben Tate guy, who's pretty good running back. He definitely is good catching out of the backfield. So is Slayton. So you've got 2 running backs right there that can catch the rock out of the backfield. That's just a great fallback plan for Matt Schaub. He's already able to go to Andre, stud. He's going to have Owen Daniels back, stud. Kevin Walter is a great number 2, and his third down guy, who was great last year and showed some electric plays, has done so over his career. Jacoby Jones is, coming into his own. So he's got yet another weapon there. If Tate can do anything, and Slayton can hold on to the rock, I think the offense in this team is going to be pretty ridiculous. Got to remember, Slayton was like a top 1 or 2 round back going into fantasy drafts last year. He was high on everyone's board. He had a couple good games, but he started fumbling the ball and fell into the doghouse. But going into last year, he had a marquee back in his backfield, something that people certainly forget. But he's a young quarterback. He's got fresh legs. He was drafted by the Atlanta Falcons in 2004. He was a 3rd rounder. The Falcons took a 3rd rounder on a quarterback when they had Mike Vick, and this was pre Bad News Kennels, dogfighting. That was when in 2004 it was the heyday of the dogfighting world for Vick. So just for them to think that he was drafted as a 3rd pick, while they still had a number 1 overall guy that was making Pro Bowls, shows what his talent's like. He's got a lot of records in college, but overall the guy's done a lot in the Texans. He's put them on the map. They were one tiebreaker away from making the playoffs last year, so I think they'll have a chip on their shoulder. I think they're ready to make the playoffs, and there's no reason to think that he can't have more than 4,700 yards with his guys back and more than 29 touchdowns. It's almost, last year he really learned how to do it, kind of like Aaron Rodgers did 2 years ago, and this year he'll build upon it. So I'm a big fan of Matt Schaub. Is he going to peek into the top 3 guys with Breeze, Manning, Brady is obviously there, and Aaron Rodgers? Maybe not, but he certainly could. And if the guy's sitting there and you like to go for a quarterback high, he's a good play. Get a backup just in case the Glass Joe tendencies rear its ugly head again. But going into any week with that guy as your starting quarterback is a good time. So there you have it. I'm going to go try and get laid, or at least, go wakeboarding or something. Enjoy this weather. You guys keep studying up. Stick with Pyromaniac.com. We got some amazing things happening, including we're launching a totally new site that's going to just change the industry. There's no sleep for the weary. So the people that are winning championships are studying right now, and stick with us, and we'll help you do so. As I said earlier, Pyromaniac.com is like starter fluid for your fantasy mind, and it's time to lubricate. Thanks.